somebody who had a business that I built out of my college apartment, right? There's no like paid medical leave, right?
Yeah.
So my business gets super volatile, and I because I couldn't get present, right? And I would go from laughing to crying to chronic anxiety to debilitating depression, all within a span of a couple of hours, right? And so you can imagine, like, if you were living in that emotional state, how it would be to run your business, right? And so I dove deep into mindfulness, into meditation. I did a massive amount of yoga. And after a couple months, it was really through the meditation practice. After a couple months of meditation practice, I realized why elite athletes like Kobe, visionary CEOs like Steve Jobs, why luminaries like Oprah all attributed some form of a meditation practice to their level of success. And it's because now there's a ton of science that backs it up, right? Meditation is to your brain what exercise is to your body, right? There are areas of your brain that physically change. There's an area in the front called your neocortex, which is responsible for your executive function. So your self-awareness, your focus, your decision-making. After 8 weeks, science has shown that area actually grows and gets bigger in your brain, right? So there are a bunch of different areas that will change to give you beneficial results in your brain that result in real skills, right? Real transferable skills out in the world.
And I love that phrase you just said, that it's like exercise for your body is what meditation is for your brain. Like, you're just training your brain to be more present. And so I struggle a lot with being present. Even just in a conversation, I want to be thinking about 50 different things, and then so I'm just all over the place. But when I'm doing a consistent meditation practice, one of the habits that I track every day now, am I doing at least a little bit of meditation or mindfulness? I like that word maybe more lately, mindfulness. I think most people are, if they have baggage around meditation, mindfulness is maybe an easier phrase. I'm trying to be mindful of the moment. But yeah, so when you first got into that, like this idea, like, did that make the depression go away? Is it a way to handle the depression? Like, what's the connection between mindfulness and depression for you?
Yeah. So there's a lot of research that shows that having a consistent mindfulness practice can help with a lot of mental health issues, and for a variety of reasons. But for me personally, and I'll just speak to that because that was my experience, but it was probably a month or two in, I'm sitting on my apartment rooftop in Santa Monica in the morning, sun's coming down, and I experienced this deep and profound sense of peace that I've never experienced in my life. And I knew that I was experiencing something different, something that was like not of the world. I wouldn't have put it in those terms at that time, but it was, and I think that's like you can create a lot of dogma around all this stuff. But the truth is, it's like, it's an experiential learning. Like, you can't experience Trump's dogma all day long. And so when you can have a practice that creates a direct experience with something that is going to create a beneficial impact in your life, right? That's when we can, I think, take some of the negative connotations and associations away from it. I mean, there's a reason that the Navy SEALs have implemented mindfulness training, that pro athletes have implemented mindfulness training, CEOs have implemented it, like Google has a program, right? So there's a ton of science that backs it up. But I think at the end of the day, like, it was this experience of this deep sense of peace that was just completely foreign to me. It was the thing that I thought I would get after I started working out college basketball players. Then I had to work out Division I players, and I had to work out overseas pros and NBA players and all-stars. And it's like, none of this is actually making me happy. Like, what am I really going after? And I think it was this, but it was that moment. It was that was one of the inflection points, was having that. And because then I had awareness, now I could start to look at other things in my life. Because it's like, I mean, you know this, but we can't change what we're not aware of, right? And having that mindfulness practice creates the awareness to then start to look at, like, what is really going on in my subconscious. Am I really running this, or is my subconscious running this?
So let's go to basic for someone who doesn't know anything about mindfulness, meditation, whatever. What the heck is meditation, or what the heck is mindfulness? Are they related? Are they the same thing? Different words for the same topic? And then walk me through, what does that even mean?
Yeah, so good question. The way I describe it is mindfulness is a skill and meditation is a practice. So mindfulness is simply the skill or the ability to create the non-judgmental, which is the key word, but non-judgmental awareness of our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions in the present moment. Meditation is just an exercise to train the skill, right? It's the same thing as if you were an athlete going to the gym and you're trying to improve your vertical leap or your lateral movement or to improve a skill out on the football field or whatever it is, right? And you're running drills to improve that skill. Mindfulness is a skill. Meditation is the drill to improve that skill, to improve your level of awareness.
And why is that important? And why does that help people?
Well, I think it helps. And here's a super practical answer to that, right? It helps us access the present moment, right? Lots of times, in high performance, we talk about being able to focus.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's not. And I'm using something that a friend of mine shared with me. He said, it's not so much about sustained focus. It's about sustained awareness, right? How many times, I don't know if you played sports growing up, but you had a coach knows a little bit, right? So, but no matter what you're doing, right, if you want to be good at something, one of the prerequisites is you got to be able to focus, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is that our brains weren't designed to, and we could really go down this road, but our brains were not designed to make us happy, to make us present. Our brains were designed to help us survive.
Keep us
right?
alive.
They're a survival mechanism. Yep. But now I don't have to worry about the lion jumping out of the bushes while I'm out gathering berries in the forest, right? Now I'm worried about psychological threats. And so where I'm going with that is we live in a world of constant distractions, overwhelming disruption, nonstop change, right? And all these things are pulling our attention, our energy out of the present moment. And so I believe that everything that we want exists in the present moment, right? Connection, empathy, focus, flow, belonging, right? All these things, we might be going after a future thing. We might be creating a vision, working on a strategy, but that process happens right now in this moment, right? And so going back to your question, why is awareness important? Because if I'm not aware, I don't know that my mind is drifted into the future, into worry, into anxiety, into planning, into hopelessness, or my mind's in the past in regret, guilt, shame, or anger, right? But when I have awareness, right, I might be writing something or whatever it is, and my mind drifts to some event on my calendar 2 months from now. The sooner I catch myself, I can redirect my attention and my energy back to the present moment, back to the task at hand. And so I think that's a super practical way to help people understand that, right? I think and from a you can call it leadership development, self-improvement, whatever you want to call it, right? We can't change what we're not aware of, right? And I think there's value in getting feedback from others, no question about it, getting an objective perspective. But the truth is that everybody else is going to give you advice through their own filter of life, through their own lens of life, through their own trauma and experiences. And as much as they try not to, at a certain level, they're going to project some of that onto you. And when we have awareness, right, we can, the other piece of this, we can really tap into our intuition.